Hey, Freddie here. We got the progressives to look at now. This was a family of wings that came from Axis last year, I believe, maybe the year before now, and has very well and truly cemented itself as probably the most popular range for intermediate advanced riders for all disciplines. And it can look quite complex because they keep adding sizes to the range and it gets mind-boggling. But what we're tending to find is as people progress in their ability levels, they're dropping down sizes quite extensively until they get onto the likes of the little baby 250 here, which is absolutely tiny and there's no way in hell I could ride. The progressive was born out of popularity, essentially. The 390 free ride gap, the anhedral one with downturned tips, was a really, really popular intermediate rear wing that people progressed on from when they were a little bit more comfortable, and really nice in the calves. That was the main thing for it, but it was still quite slow because it was still had a foam core, quite a thick profile and cord as well. It was just quite a steady, slow wing, but everyone liked the fact that you could bank it over and it would hold the calf really well. Then we brought the likes of the flat 400, the 460, the Speed 380 and 420, especially those two 380, the 380 and 420, they were solid carbon, they were so thin, and they're still the fastest foils in the rear wing range from Axis, but they were completely flat, or they had these really aggressive winglets, which gave you quite a skatey feel. And the progressives were essentially a mixture of the two. They are a full carbon construction. There's no foam core, which enables them to go as thin as they possibly can do with them. They're reasonably flat, but there is still a little bit of a downturned tip. So the idea being is you get the speed that you want to go fast, cruise quickly, but you still get a little bit of grip when you go into the carve there. That was the whole point of the progressive range. Size-wise, we've got everything, as I mentioned, from the likes at the moment of the 250, and these are all spans, by the way, up to the 475. And although they have similarities, they're obviously for very different purposes. Within the range, and this is talking to the bulk of UK riders who are going to probably be wing foiling, the 375 and the 400 are the two most popular options. 375 for probably people under 80 kilos, 400 for anyone probably over 80 kilos from an intermediate perspective. And the idea being, or the trend that's going on at the moment, is the better people get, the lower the number, or the lower the size and the progressive range that they're using. From personal experience, I jumped on from the 375 down to the 300, and I've now jumped straight back to where I was. It's too big of a jump. When you are moving down these sizes, yes, 375 to 350, I'm probably not going to notice too much of a difference, but two sizes down to 325, for instance, that's going to be a little bit more beneficial. Down to a 300, three sizes down the range is probably a little bit too much. This felt, I only kite foiled it, but this felt phenomenal in the calves. It was the best carving rear wing I've ever tried, but I couldn't keep it in a straight line when I was just trying to cruise. And for me, especially with kite foiling, when you're trying to cover nice bits of distance, I just couldn't tolerate it. Fast forward a few months, I can almost guarantee if I tried that again, I'd be better at it, but I'm going to be looking towards a 325 from a personal perspective. So starting around the 375-400 mark is average at the moment, and that's where most of our bulk of sales go at the moment. People are dropping down quickly, but you've just got to be conscious that you need to be able to cope with the fact that it's going to be a lot more pitch sensitive, and if your ability level's not quite there, you're going to struggle a touch. So just be wary of how quickly you drop. When you get up to the likes of the 475, 450, 425, again, these are going to be for your bigger blokes, but these are going to be for your more free ride orientated guys. So the guys that really just want to cover a nice bit of distance comfortably. This is going to be super pitch stable. 475 specifically, downwinding or flat water pumping, that's where these are going to come into their own. Flat water pumping wise, we've always generally gone with the 460 speed with the bigger wings because it's super flat, super stable. Again, with it being reasonably flat, it doesn't offer a huge amount of carving ability. That's where the progressives come in. So if you want as a crossover wing, if you're downwinding, winging and pump starting, the 475, 450 is probably going to be a nice little spot. That's the progressives.